but I think they'll sign both Jake and Tom for one more year, and they'll finish up at the end of 2027. And in 2 or 3 years' time, maybe a bit longer, they will have the best spine in the competition. If Nathan misses this year, the finals, he could do what I did in 2005, maybe go over there and play the rest of the season for Warrington, and then get some games in for the Ashes the end of the year. Now there's an idea.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Hello and welcome to another week of Immortal Behaviour. Thanks to our mates at Tab. Andrew Johns, how are you going today?
I'm good.
Good?
I'm good. Just back from Melbourne. We might talk about that later.
Is there something spicy in that?
No. Well, spicy dinner last night. But Sydney's colder than Melbourne.
It's freezing.
It's freezing.
Genuinely freezing. Before we rip into a couple of the topics that are floating around rugby league at the moment, the ladder. I mean, we've had the best rugby league this season. It's been so exciting, but also the ladder, it's log jammed.
The tipster's nightmare.
I'm going shocking. Does that mean you're going good?
I left the other week, there was 5 games, and I actually tipped 3 out of 5, and I saw someone say, if anyone tipped 1, they had no idea. So that's correct.
Awesome.
So,
the 8th Immortal.
So from 7th to 13th, there's only 2 points difference. Was it 7 till, was it 10th or something? They're all on 12 points. From 7.
Yeah, all on 12 points. 10 to 13, they're all on 12. It's insane. So 17th.
But the wild card is Penrith, who are on 11. So that 1 point, they had the draw with the Cowboys, and the Cowboys are coming 6th. That's the wild card in the pack.
It's crazy,
The 1 point. Could go right down. So generally that 6th and 7th position, there's 4 or 5 teams fighting it out. That 1 point that Penrith got, they might get them in.
It also pretty much means that if any of those teams, even at the bottom, like Penrith was 17th last week, that one win took them up to 14th, but you string a good month of footy together and you're still in the race.
Let's hope for the Knights that happens. They're on 10. Well, they're only 2 wins out.
They are only 2 wins out.
Let's hope.
The fans wouldn't want to be them at the moment. All right, let's rip in. The Trbojevic brothers.
Yes.
There's a few big conversations around their contracts. Obviously, come November 1, both Jake and Tom, 2026, are off contract. So November 1 this year, they can potentially go on the open market and explore those options, but they can do it with their club at the moment, and that's, I guess, what the media's been picking up on.
Well, Jake's comments when DCE left were quite telling. He said, I could not imagine playing for any other club than Manly, and he won't. He'd refuse, and both Turbo. Just on Turbo, we know he's a bit injury prone, so he's been playing NRL. This is his 10th year. Averaged that out around 26 games, 260 games, throwing origins and a few test matches. You know, take the buys out, it works around 260. He's only played 159 games, so he's missed 100 games over that 10-year period. This year he's only played 7 out of 14. So we know he's a special player, but with the injuries, especially with Lehi Hopoate, the end of next year, probably looking at maybe 1 more year for Turbo. And then Jakey's the same. Look, everyone knows Jake's coming to the end. He hasn't got that punch and speed in attack. Defensively, he's still a weapon. So the end of next year, maybe 1 more year for Jake too.
So do you think, going back to Tom, because both of them, so wait, let's start first. Do you think they'd be willing to take a pay cut? Because that's part of the conversation 100%. To stay at the club. They're club juniors. We know, obviously, there's so many beautiful stories around them giving back to the juniors coming through, and they wearing their heart on their sleeve, but would they be willing to take a pay cut to stay there?
1,000,000%.
Yeah.
So I reckon Jake, let's just say 800 or 900. He would take 400 or 500 to play, without a doubt, and that's Jakey. Turbo, he'd be upwards of $1 million, which for Turbo, when he's on, is cheap. I think he'd probably take the same, 500-600. And you know, a lot of talk about playing in the centres. Lehi Hopoate is off in 2027.
So he's got an extra 12 months on his current contract than the Trbojevic boys.
How they juggle that. If he plays centre, Turbo, it takes away a lot of that running. But what it does do, it puts him in the front line. But Turbo's injuries have been lower leg injuries. So it's not really impact injuries to the upper body. So big decisions at Manly, but I think they'll sign both Jake and Tom for 1 more year, and they'll finish up at the end of 2027.
You think only one more year for Tom?
Yeah.
Because of his injuries?
Just because of the injuries. And because...
Even though the impact that he has when he does play, or you think he's too far off that at the moment?
I just think with Lehi, the way Lehi Hopoate's going, every year he's growing as a player. Local junior, Lehi, and it's just the natural progression. So the end of 27, that'll have Turbo about 12 years. And Jakey, that's about 14. Jake was 2 years before.
Yeah, he's a couple of years older.
So I think it'd be fair and reasonable, and I think everyone wins. But they'll take a pay cut for sure.
Well, you know both of them really well, but you know Turbo really well. And obviously, as you said, Lehi Hopoate is an absolute gun, particularly at fullback. Do you think internally in the club, but between Tommy Turbo and Lehi, they'll be having those honest conversations about how maybe they can work together?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's the sort of guy Turbo is. You play wherever they put him. And once again, he's never played fullback for New South Wales, which I find it's quite sad, really. But once again, he's played on the right side. He'd have that roaming licence where he'd go into the middle with Teddy, and they'd both play together as fullbacks. But yeah, being realistic with his record, especially of late, the last 2 or 3 years, there's been a lot of footy missed.
So that then brings in the other part of the conversation is the Super League's been thrown around for Tom Trbojevic. Do you see him going there?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe going over. Tom hasn't got a young family. No, none of the boys haven't got kids. No, I think that'd be ideal for Turbo, for sure.
And that doesn't really take away from him being loyal to Manly because it's a separate competition,
it'd be amazing for Super League over there if he went over. We need some of the superstars to go over there. I'd love to see... Yes. Well, if Nathan misses this year, the finals, he could do what I did in 2005, maybe go over there and play the rest of the season for Warrington and then get some games in for the Ashes the end of the year. Now, there's an idea.
Here we go. Someone grab that and run with it, surely.
Yeah.
But you'd like to see more players do that. So any teams that haven't made the 8, they're out of the finals.
Well, back in the
Send
day,
some of the guns
when they
over.
played in winter, a lot of the stars would go over and play in our summer, their winter. But now they play in summer over there in conjunction with our. But it overlaps a little. It'd be amazing. I know Warrington would. I know Simon Moran would bend over backwards. For Nathan, the NRL is looking to buy the Super League. That's the sort of boost which would be incredible.
It's the kind of collaboration that we need, though, right, to continue to grow 100%. The game internationally.
I've said to Newcastle for years. Obviously, I've got a connection with Warrington. Have some sort of relationship with Warrington. Let's just say, for instance, Fletcher Sharp. Fletcher Sharp's a fullback. KP's flying. Go righto. He can go over there, play at a higher level than New South Wales Cup here. But if there's an injury, God forbid, to Kalen, he can get on a plane and come back. They might have an abundance of middle forwards, and Newcastle need them. They do an exchange. Fletcher Sharp comes over to England, and anyway, we're getting off topic.
That's right, it's a good topic, I like it.
But I like that, Nathan. Ashes the end of the year. If they do miss, go and play 2 or 3 games.
Who are some other players that might benefit from that?
Well, who's out? Well, Kalen? Well, it depends if Kalen's going to play for Australia.
But you'd probably be looking to target those Kangaroos players that aren't in the finals,
100%.
right? That makes sense.
Well, they go over.
Yeah.
If they miss the semis, they won't play for 5 weeks, 6 weeks, because the first test is late October. They wouldn't have played for 7 weeks. I might be on something.
Tell you what, you're on something today.
I'm onto something.
That's an early kick.
See, clean living, fish oil.
That's all it is too. All right. Speaking of English players, someone that's done really well with English players coming over, Ricky Stewart. You were giving him a huge rap for the young guns that he's brought through and backed well and truly at the Raiders. They're playing some brilliant footy. But some of those young guns, the talent, you've got Weeks, Strange, Sanders, Little Owen, Paddy.
Chevy Stewart, he's another one.
Yeah.
He's a gun.
What do you love about how Ricky's brought them through?
Well, there's been a definite plan for the last 2-3 years. We have other clubs scrambling to buy halfbacks who are in their mid to late 30s, where I just think the Raiders have had this clear plan. Look, Ricky knows the DNA of the Canberra Raiders. He knows the DNA of Canberra as a place, ACT, and they play their own style of footy. They play a style of offloads, high tempo, with Tarpany and Papali'i and Horsburgh and these guys. But the way they've managed these young guys and they're blooded at different times, I think it should be applauded. And in 2 or 3 years' time, maybe a bit longer, they will have the best spine in the competition.
Yeah.
I've been watching Ethan Sanders for a while in lower grades at Parramatta, and I thought he was an out-and-out first grader. Ethan's strange. Now Ethan's going to go to the right side next year when Fogarty goes. Yep. He played right centre for New South Wales 19, scored 3 tries. K.O. Weeks looks like an absolute star, and Owen Paddy's the one. When Harry finishes, he'll be straight into the Queensland team. Oh, he's a Queenslander.
Filthy Queenslander.
Anyway, well done.
It'd be exciting to be a Raiders supporter though, and also the way Ricky's done it. Like we're giving a lot of raps to some of the younger players, but also their outside backs at the moment are through the roof. But he's built those foundations off that pack.
Yep.
They're unbelievable.
Tarpany, Papali'i,
Big
it broke
Red,
the record.
Papali'i,
Hudson Young.
Hudson Young.
When Hudson Young came on at Origin, late in the middle, he was a point of difference. He was skipping around. I was like, how good's this? Hudson Young is a winner. He's a try scorer and he's a winner.
Do you think the way that Ricky's gone about this is similarly followed that blueprint that Penrith went with?
Well, Penrith more had the local juniors. They built from within. I don't know the local juniors coming through at Canberra, how they've gone in the junior reps, but they've identified these talents. Weeks, Strange, Sanders, Saunders, Owen Paddy, Xavier Savage. Top of my head, I'm just from a young age, and got them down there and got them used to the cold.
That's the biggest thing,
living
right?
with the public servants.
He must be a good bloke. I mean, we know Ricky, but
yeah.
to get and to have your players playing the way that they are to move to Canberra, it'd take a lot. It'd take a lot to move to Canberra.
Well, Melbourne's the team I think is the favourites, and I think next is the Raiders.
Do you?
Yeah, I put them in front of the Bulldogs. Just.
Why?
I just think their forward pack. I worry about the Dogs having the real X factor in the key positions. They're untried to go to that next level, but I'll probably be wrong. But
well, you're doing good in your tips at the moment.
I am. I'm coming for middle.
If there was something to stop the Raiders from making that grand final, the way you see their team at the moment, what would it be?
Maybe injuries and inexperience. I don't know what the depth is like in that middle forward. They got some good young forwards, Moriata, off the bench. They got some guns.
But you think the style of the footy that they're playing could get them to the grand final?
For sure. When it sticks, they're unstoppable. This weekend, with Josh Papali'i breaking the record of Jared Croker, full house. Watch them go.
It'll be so good. That Viking clap. Bring it on. All right, it's time now for our Tab Big Call of the Week.
Yes.
What have we got?
Well, I think the top 3 teams in the top 4 will make statements this week. I think Storm up against the Cowboys, the early game Friday night. There's Reece Robson might be out, hamstring tightness. I think they'll make a real statement, the Storm. I think the Raiders, if I spoke about them at home, I think they'll have a big win. And the other one on the Kings, it's not the Kings' birthday, is it? The Kings.
It's the long weekend. I don't know what it is.
They're saying it could be the record for most attendance for a club match. So it's going to be a sunny day. I think the Dogs make a statement against the Eels. So those 3, Storm, Raiders, Dogs, big statement.
Just on that, gosh, the Dogs have done well. Getting the crowd there for those big moments. Are we allowed to rap the person we rap, or we just say it's the club?
They've been starved for years. They've been down the bottom for years, and then who waltzes in?
The top dog.
Gus, too good, too smart.
He's too good.
Went and he knew who to recruit. First one, Cameron Ciraldo, out of that Penrith system, and then he went picked some of the leaders. Kickow, Stephen Crichton, who he raves about. He just knows what winning looks like. Too good.
And he knows how to get his fans involved as well with the $10 tickets.
Yes.
$10 tickets, they can sit anywhere, I believe, in that top row of the stadium, but it makes it so accessible to take your whole family there.
The natives will be restless.
That's it.
Yeah.
Genius. Absolute genius. We knew that already, though. The other big game, I'm pumped for this one. I'm really looking forward to it. It's our Channel 9 game on Sunday, 4:05 kick-off. The Tigers take on the Panthers.
Jerome Luai, Saruva Taruva.
Yeah.
Anyone else from there?
But obviously the
Terrell
big one,
May.
Terrell May.
But Luai and Nathan.
Luai and Nathan.
Yeah. They've been to marriage counselling. They get to fight it out together. I can't wait for this one. And they both play pretty much on that side of the field. Jerome on the left.
They'll be at each other.
I hope so. Hope so. Well,
Jerome's
they've played
got a
together
bit-
since they've been 15, so there'll be intel. Two very different personalities and players. But like we saw last week against the Eels, with the game on the line, Nathan stands up. He gets them home. Tigers last week, West Tigers last week up in Townsville, came home strong. But interesting how this game goes. Because you've got the control and the grinding style of Penrith who just grind you and are happy to win 8-6, where the flamboyant Tigers are all out attack. So, wow.
What about the battle between the two halves, Luai and Cleary? Yeah. Luai's obviously got a little bit more niggle in his game. And as you said, Nathan, the Iceman.
I'd imagine Jerome be quite lippy.
I can't wait for that, just to listen to that, because he'll be at him all game.
Yeah.
Nathan will just have that little smirk on his face.
They come together. Nathan's been very physical this year defensively. So if they come together, when Jerome comes off left foot, doosh, under the ribs.
Oh my gosh, it's so exciting.
We're going to know a lot about the Tigers this week.
Yeah?
We're going to know what's under the bonnet, because last week against the Eels, they just got into that grind, and it was a tough game, and they will just grind away. And if the Tigers stay in the arm wrestle, but if they drop balls coming into trouble, they're going to be in all sorts. We're going to find out a lot about the Tigers.
What did you make of Penrith last week, obviously against the Eels? A solid performance and a win they desperately needed. But do you think we saw that? I'm not going to say the Penrith of old, because they're not. But do you think we saw a lot of those traits and the style of their footy?
Was the model of what they've won the last 4 years, or been the grand final the last 5, of just grinding, being patient, kicking to the corner, and then once the opposition makes an error, they just strangle. But that style of play, it takes its toll, especially with all those boys backing up from Origin, and they got 5 in Origin. So some good signs last week. Geez, that was a tough Dower game.
Yeah.
Tigers, pack your overalls. It's going to be a dogfight.
That's what makes it so fascinating, right? The two generals that lead their teams, how they both handle that pressure, knowing one another's games.
Totally different personalities, and they play different. I reckon Terrell May might have a big game. He might go at it.
He'd probably have to, won't he?
Well, he's playing for an Origin spot too. So, looking forward to it.
Bring it on. All right, well, you mentioned you had to jump on a plane yesterday.
Yesterday, to rush from Freddie in the 8th. Had some head noise.
Did you?
Yeah.
Why did you have head noise?
Just getting to the airport. I like to get to the airport. Look, we all check in online now. And I drive into the Qantas Valet, so you can go straight up. But I like to get there half an hour early, boarding, and I like to walk around the airport.
Do you?
Just people watch.
Is that why you're never in the lounge?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't like going to the lounge. I feel like an elitist.
I hide in the corner.
I still like to get the coal dust all over me, the working class boy. But I like to wander around the airport and people watch, go and browse for some books. The most important thing, travel tips. My son should know this. Write a list. Write a list out, what you need to take, and go over it 2-3 times and make sure you've packed everything. What else have I got?
Why? What did you forget?
No, never. I never forget so. Never.
Can we have a quick talk about the blow-up you just had with one of your sons on the phone before? I'm actually very impressed with how composed you've been, given you came in here with steam coming out of your ears.
Dad, I forgot my footy boots. Yeah, when you left yesterday. Make sure you need your footy boots. Nah, don't need them. Need my training gear for school. Just drop everything. Just, can you come to school and give it? Oh, God, give me strength.
I tell you who'd want to know this story. Your parents.
Yeah.
They'd just be rubbing their mitts together going, Sandy.
No, but I was always prepared. I never left anything at home. I've been doing it my whole life, making lists.
Yeah, but I'm sure you've done a lot to get under their skin, so just anything that rattles you.
Of course. The other thing, the international flights are the best. Domestic, it's where I wander around, but the internationals, because there's no time.
Yeah.
You go and check in, and you go through security, and you walk through, and It's 8 in the morning and people are necking schooners. There's no time. There's no rules in international airports.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter where you're
like.
going. You're going somewhere else. It's 5
Yeah.
o'clock somewhere. That is, you're right. It's the one place that
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we've employed it on other occasions
no
as
one
well,
judges.
but you're allowed to employ it. It's
Yeah.
5 o'clock somewhere.
But make a list. Make a list and check it twice, like Santa Claus.
Joey's
Find
travel
out
tips.
who's naughty and nice.
Pillow?
Only for a few days. I get embarrassed taking my pillow. Look, I've
Yeah.
got bad neck, so I need the pillow, but if I take it, everyone takes the mickey out of me, especially Freddie.
It's pretty funny.
And I go through that. There's one shop I go every time, is the pyjama shop.
Oh, Peter Alexander.
Peter Alexander.
Do you?
And go look at the sausage dogs. I know my head goes. Anyway,
Have you ever bought any jammies? You just go and look at the little
Nah.
picture.
just look at the sausage dogs.
All right. If you were going to be an animal, is that your animal? Is that
A
why?
dolphin.
You're a dolphin. Great. Well, the Dolphins have got that game for Friday night footy.
They have too. My man Katoa.
Alrighty, can't wait. Big round of footy this week. Thanks so much again for joining us on Immortal Behaviour.
Make a list.
Make a list, kids.